Here's my complete process for creating and posting a digital piano teacher resource to sell on TPT. Hey, if you're new, I'm Phoenix and I'm the Tattooed Piano Teacher. I started my Teachers Pay Teachers store in April of 2023 as a piano teacher side hustle. The most shocking thing about starting as a TPT seller was the amount of time that I spent, hours and hours and hours, not creating the product, but posting the product and getting everything right. Well, now that I've been doing it for a while, I feel like I've fallen into a system, and so I'd love to share that process with you. In this video, I'll share all the little steps I go through from the planning to the creation to the posting of a digital resource, and it's my hope that maybe I can help someone streamline their process just a little bit, maybe save a little bit of time. Stick around to the end. I've got a bonus tip for you, something that I batch that maybe you haven't thought about before that helps me with promoting my products. So when I'm in the planning stage, I like to keep an ongoing list of ideas. So hopefully this is very easy to pick which idea I'm going to create next because I already have this long list. If I don't have anything specifically in mind, or I need a seasonal item, then I will do some research on my own TPT product statistics. So I will see like what sold the best and then what new version of that can I make. So either that or going back to my list of ideas. Once I've picked which idea I'm going to create this time around, then I'm going to write an outline. And this will just describe the very basics of like what it's going to be, what it will include, and who it's for. Step 3 is I might need to do some shopping. Usually this is clip art. So if I know that I'm going to need a certain font or clip art for this product, I'll go ahead and do that shopping right away so that I have everything downloaded and ready to go when I have that time blocked out for creation. Step 4, I might need to do a little bit of research. Depending on what the product is, if it's something similar to something I've made before, I might just get going with it. But if it's something new, then I might want to do some research. This research might include actual like music theory things. If it's a pretty serious product, I want to make sure that I get things right. The research might also be, does this already exist? What are other people selling it for? Things like that. I definitely don't want to copy anyone, and if I'm going to make something similar to what other people have made, I want to put my own spin on it so that it's a little bit unique or special. So sometimes some research is a smart thing to do. And then the final thing I do in the planning stage is I actually schedule out a block of time for creation. I do not like to create products in 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, if I can help it. So I like to find a time where I'm going to have like a solid, honestly, I like to have like 3 hours of creation, at least to get the bulk of the creating done. So I actually put that into my calendar and schedule it. And then it's time to actually produce the product. So in the production stage, I'm going to pick a platform that I use. And I actually use lots of different platforms depending on what the resource is. Sometimes I use Keynote, which is like PowerPoint for Mac. Sometimes I use Canva. Sometimes I use Google Slides. It just depends on what it is. Open up the platform, and you want to pick the right platform because you don't want to start making something and then realize that you want to make it on something else. So it is actually an important step. The next step would be that I'm going to create the main content. So this is definitely like the most time-consuming step. It's one little step in this checklist, but honestly, this can take days, sometimes weeks, but definitely hours. So I'm just sitting down, making page after page after page, making the stuff. But at this point, I already know what I'm doing because I wrote out my outline. So I know what I need to do. It's just a time-consuming process. I try to make this enjoyable as possible. Like I mentioned, I like to block off time when I'm going to be home alone, no distractions. I like to turn off my phone. Sometimes I'll put on like some lo-fi music so I can really focus. I have my iced coffee next to me, and I try to make it like as fun as possible. And I really do enjoy creating the products anyways. So, I mean, it's really fun. It just takes a lot of time. Once I get the main part of the content made, I usually like to shut my laptop and step away from it. So I don't like to go on to the other steps on the same day that I do step 7. Sometimes I do like a draft print at this point. I'm just going to test it out. So if I need to see if it all prints properly, then I will come back with fresh eyes on another day and I will add in any details. So maybe I need to like play around with some borders or move around some titles. Maybe I need to add like the clip art or stuff like that. So I'm going to add in any details I need to add and fix anything that I see that doesn't look quite right. The next step will be I will create the cover page. So this might be just an introductory to what the product is. It's going to be the first page of like the PDF, or this could be like a table of contents if it's a pack of worksheets. Next, I finally get to print my product. So I'm going to print out like the full color version. I'm going to use it with my students or with my daughter, who is my in-house guinea pig for some of these products. In some form, I will test it with another human to make sure everything works, there's no mistakes. Once I've observed how it actually worked in real life in my studio, then I will make some final edits. Usually there's something I want to change, something I want to add, something in the instructions that could be clearer, so make those final edits. Then if I am creating like a product line, I will repeat steps 7 through 12 for as many products as are going to be in that product line. This often means that that first product I made gets delayed in getting posted. And that's kind of a bummer because you just want to get it out there and start selling it once you finish it. However, I found that it is much better use of my time to be like in creation mode, maybe for like a week or two at a time, and then do like a blast posting and promotion all in one go. And that is my best advice as far as batching the creation process. Once I have the main content, everything all worked out, and the final edits done, I'm ready to move on to the posting stages. But I'm going to call this stage the pre-posting stage. There's some things that you want to do so that when you sit down to post, it's all ready to go. The first thing is I've got to print it out, so now I'm going to photograph it, and I'm going to film some video demos of it as well. Then I will sit down and create the cover and the thumbnails. So these are great little mini tasks that I can do in like 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there. So once I've got a cover and 3 thumbnails created for each of the products that I'm going to be posting, then I'll create the previews. This is the PDF preview that will be uploaded to TPT. Then I'm going to edit the video preview and make sure that's all ready to be uploaded. This is really important to me because there's nothing worse than signing into TPT, start posting, you everything plugged in, and you're like, oh shoot, I didn't make my video preview. And then you got to decide, am I going to do that right now? Am I going to do that later? And if you post that product and you don't have everything there, what are the chances that you're going to come back and add that video preview later? Maybe, but maybe not. So I like to have it all ready to go. So it's just drag, drag, drag. Okay. Then the next thing I'm going to do is create like an other resources page to add to the product before I upload it. So if I'm making like one Easter game, then I might make a page of like all my spring resources, and they're going to be clickable so that when people download the PDF, they can click on my other spring resources and just buy more, right? And then I'm also going to make the terms of use page. And this is very important from a legal standpoint. Any clip art, any fonts, any elements that you use, you need to link back to that person's store. And then you also want to protect yourself, let people know what they can do with your product, what they can't do with your product, and then give them all the links to your socials, to your website, to leave a review, all that good stuff. So terms of use page, and then I will just add those to the product. I like to do this all at once instead of for each individual product, because if I make a terms of use page that applies to like 5 different products in the product line, then I'll just open all those PDFs, and then I'll open up the terms of use, and then I'll just drag it to the end of all of those products. So again, batching, saving some time. Okay, now I am ready to post. When I have a posting day, I like to set aside like an hour, maybe 2 hours, depending on how many products I'm posting, so that I can do it all in one go, because I get into the groove and I can really get a lot done pretty efficiently. So when I'm posting, the first thing I'm going to do is go to my product listing page on TPT, and I'm going to find a similar product, because it's easier to start with something than to start with a blank canvas. So if you click on quick edit, then you can create similar listing and start from there. Then I'm going to plug in my title. At this point, I might do a little keyword research, and that will also help me with the description as well. And then here's the fun part. Because I already made the entire product, all the previews and the images, then I'm just going to have those open on the desktop of my computer, and I'm just going to drag, drag, drag everything in. So I'm going to drag in the main product. I'm going to drag in the preview, drag in the video preview. I'm going to drag in the cover and the 3 thumbnails. It's very satisfying to just drag that all in and not have to make them one by one. They're already made, and I love that. Then I write out the description, and I keep any keywords that I found in mind, kind of throwing those in there. Then I'm going to add product links at the end of my description to other similar products that people might be interested in. Then I'm going to add the price, which hopefully I've already come up with from my previous research, select all the correct labels for my product, and then I get to publish it. so satisfying. Now we're not done yet, right? We have to promote the product. So here's my process for promotion. I create pins, usually 4 pins for a product, and then I schedule those pins out. I just use that Pinterest native scheduler because you can schedule out a full month ahead of time. So I'll schedule like 1 pin per week, today, a week from today, 2 weeks from today, through like that, so that it's not all the same product all going out at once. So I'll schedule those out, and then I will create any image or video posts that I want to do on any of my other socials. And I'll just use like the photography and the video that I used for the previews. Then I will use that to make the posts. And then I'm just going to schedule the posts like TikTok, Instagram, whatever else I'm going to post on. I'll go ahead and schedule those as well. Okay, here's my bonus tip. Before I give you the bonus tip, go ahead and hit that like button if you like TPT seller tips and inside info, stuff like that. So my bonus tip is when I create the cover and the thumbnails, the square ones that I'm going to use on my TPT listing, I also resize those in Canva to pins. So if I have a cover and 3 thumbnails, there's my 4 pins right there. I might need to move things around a little bit because Pinterest pins are taller than they are wide. But in Canva, if you have Canva Pro, it's just a 1 click, and then you just kind of move it slightly to make everything look good. Sometimes I change things out because what looks good on Pinterest might not work for a thumbnail on TPT, But for the most part, I can kind of transfer over most of the elements. And then I will save my cover and thumbnails to 1 folder, and I will save those 4 pins to another folder. I'm not going to post them on Pinterest right now, but then when I am ready to do my posting on socials, they're right there ready for me. So it makes it so much easier. A bonus tip along with that, as you're writing your title and description, if you have a little document attached to those pins and you can copy some of the key paragraphs from your description, then you can use those as a description for your pins. So even more batching. So comment below how that differs from your process. Maybe you have some tips and tricks that I haven't thought of yet to make the process a little more streamlined. If you want my personal checklist that I just went through, that is available for free. Click the link in the description. And if you want to keep watching, I recently tried selling the same resources I sell on TPT on Etsy. So if you want to know about my first couple months on Etsy, watch that video here, and hopefully I will see you there.